Population and pollution. Our objectives are: at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to define and describe populations, discuss the factors that affect the size of population, define pollution, and discuss the causes and types of pollution, and describe the role of fertilizers in the formation of algal blooms. Populations. Life takes place in populations. Population is a group of individuals of the same species in the same area at the same time. Like the same species, organisms belonging to the same species, when they live together in a single place or in a same place, that group of organisms is known as population. They rely on the same resources, they interact with each other, and they interbreed to produce fertile offsprings. In sociology, population refers to a collection of humans and their entire race, while in biology, we term population for all types of species, like the collection of any type of species is called as population. But in sociology, population only means the collection of humans and their entire race. Population, in a more simple term, is the number of people in a city or a town, a region, a country, or in the world. Population is usually determined by a process called as census, a process of collecting, analyzing, compiling, and publishing human data. What will be the world population nowadays? According to the United States Census Bureau, the world's population was about 7.55 billion in 2019, and that the 7 billion number was surpassed on 12th March 2012. According to a separate estimate by the United Nations, Earth's population exceeded 7 billion in October 2011. In the future, the world's population is expected to peak, after which it will decline due to economic reasons, health concerns, land exhaustion, and environmental hazards like different types of diseases. According to one report, it is very likely that the world's population will stop growing before the end of the 21st century. Further, there is some likelihood that population will actually decline before 2100. Population growth. Population growth increased significantly as the Industrial Revolution gathered pace from 1700th century onward. The last 50 years have seen a yet more rapid increase in the rate of population growth due to two main factors. What do you think? What these factors are? The reason for population increase are medical advances and the substantial increase in agricultural productivity, particularly beginning in the 1960s, also called as the Green Revolution. Here in the picture you can see different type of populations of the different species, penguins, zebras, and other organisms in the tropical rainforests and in grasslands. A population size. Population size. Changes to population size are adding and removing individuals from a population. The factors are the birth rate, the death rate, immigration of organism or species, emigration of organisms or species. In the diagram, you can see all these factors. Like the birth and immigration add individual to a population. Immigration means when someone moves from another area into the new area, that is known as immigration. Birds, for example, they migrate from one place to another every year. okay, and then they lay eggs and give birth to childs in different regions. Then in the next picture, population size increases as these birds they give birth to like they lay egg, and from those eggs they hatches their children's, okay. So the population of those birds increases, their population size increases. In the meanwhile, there are emigration also occur. Emigration means when you move from that particular area to some other area. When you move away from an area, that is known as emigration. Death also is the cause of the decrease in the population size, like there is a prey and predator relationship. There are some organisms who feed upon those birds, small birds. So death causes due to which there is a decrease in the population size. Factors that affect population size: abiotic factors, biotic factors, and intrinsic factors. There are so many others. Abiotic factors include the sunlight and temperature, precipitation or water, soil, nutrients. Biotic factors are other living organisms are living in that area, like the prey, which you know the food for other organisms, the competitors for belong to the same species, predators, those who eat those organisms, other organisms, parasites and diseases. Parasites are those organisms which causes diseases in their hosts or the one in which they live. Intrinsic factors means the adaptation which we studied in the previous topics, adaptations in animals and plants. So animals and plants they adapt themselves to their new environment or to the environment in which they live for their better survival. So these are some factors which affect the population size of an organism in an area. What is pollution? Any unwanted substance administered or entered to the environment that harm living organisms. Pollution is the introduction of contaminants into the natural environment that causes adverse changes. Causes of pollution. Pollutants is any substance that cause pollution. Pollution can take the form of chemical substances or energy in the form of noise, heat or light. Types of pollution. There are so many types of pollution: air pollution, light pollution, littering, noise pollution, plastic pollution, soil contamination, water pollution, but our concern here is with the water pollution. Water pollution. Water pollution is that pollution in which we contaminate water with the help of different types of chemical substances or any fertilizers and any other thing which harm or which get harm to the water bodies or the organisms living in that body. That is called as water pollution. So the water pollution is mainly caused by the fertilizers. The use of fertilizers are beneficial, no doubt, but in providing nutrients to plants, although they have some negative environmental effects. You know, excess of everything is bad. So the large growing consumption of fertilizers can affect soil, surface water and groundwater. All of them are affected then by the fertilizers, the misuse of fertilizers, because they leach out from the grounds. Phosphorus and nitrogen fertilizers, when commonly used, have major environmental effects. This is due to high rainfalls causing the fertilizers to be washed into waterways. Agricultural runoff is a major contributor to the eutrophication of freshwater bodies. Algal blooms. The main contributor to eutrophication is phosphate, which is normally a limiting nutrient. High concentrations promote the growth of cyanobacteria and algae, the demise of which consumes oxygen. Cyanobacteria blooms, like algal blooms, can also produce harmful toxins that can accumulate in the food chain and can be harmful to human health. Thank you. If you have any question, ask me.